So Gavin McKenna, who people have known for a long time, was considering Penn State, but it wasn't a guarantee that he'd go to Penn State. Gavin McKenna has officially committed to Penn State University, which is good news if you're a Nittany Lions fan. In fairness, Penn State made a hell of a run last year. Very well could have won a national championship. Now you go out and you bring in the number one prospect, not just in North America. You're bringing in the number one hockey prospect in the world. Because he is. I mean, he's going to be the number one overall pick unless something horrific happens between now and next summer's draft. So McKenna is going to be a Penn State Nittany Lion, presumably is going to take over that entire program, might end up becoming somehow the most popular athlete on campus. I mean, I want you to think about this for a second because I saw it getting floated out there, and I had to actually think about it. Remember how we had the conversation the other day about, like, is Zach Wheeler the best Philly of my lifetime, certainly of like the last few decades? Is Zach Wheeler even better than Roy Halladay and Cliff Lee because he's done it for a longer period of time? We had that conversation. Some people got triggered on TikTok. It's okay. I had to talk them off the ledge a little bit, but it was okay. So we had that conversation, but I want to have this conversation, and please let me know in the comments. And if you're listening after the fact, you can tweet at me at Joy on Broad, or you can certainly go into the YouTube video and the regular comments and leave it there. Gavin McKenna is going to fundamentally alter what it means to get NIL money as a hockey player. I saw the number floated out there. I have yet to see it officially confirmed, but I've seen something as outlandish as $700,000 of NIL money to potentially go to Penn State. Now, again, that has not been officially confirmed. It was Barstool put it out. $700,000 to go to Penn State. Don't know if it's true. I'm not sure that it does matter. He's going to get Boku bucks, though. We do know that, to go play for Penn State. This is the kind of move that now sets the market potentially for other players who are pursuing NIL money for hockey. Football's a totally different beast, right? Football, we know. For years, I mean, even before NIL, there were always those rumors about some players getting paid by donors, but not getting paid at all. Certainly not. But for hockey, if that's true, if that number is even remotely true, and we're talking about like the mid to high six figures for a 17, is he 17? Yeah, 17-year-old kid to go play hockey at Penn State, that changes the entire trajectory and landscape of college hockey. Now, of course, he's the number one prospect in the world. He's going to be the top college player, bar none. But it does kind of point to an interesting trend here. Now, think about it like this. He can make, is it $950 on an ELC if he goes to the NHL in a year? What if he gets offered to more to stay at Penn State? Like, let's say he makes $700K this year. What if a big Penn State donor comes in and says, you know what? Let's up that money so that when he's 18 years old, maybe he would be ready to make the jump to the NHL. What if a donor comes back and says, all right, let's take that to $1.2 million. We're actually going to exceed what you could make on an ELC. Or they say, you know what? Let's take it to 1.5. Like, let's say Gavin McKenna leads Penn State's team to the national championship, and he's capped on how much money he can make on an ELC in the NHL. And you get a bunch of donors who come in and say, you know what? Let's go get another national championship. How does $1.3 million sound to you? Wild. That's where it's going to get interesting. I mean, seriously, that to me is where the NIL stuff gets really, really interesting. It's not like the NFL, where if you're a top 5, top 10 pick, you're getting all this guaranteed money and it's a no-brainer. If you're playing in a sport like hockey and you could get $700K, and then that maybe does go up above $1 million for you to return for your sophomore season instead of making less money to go play against full-size grown-ass men in the NHL at age 18, is it at least a conversation? I would think it is. Now, listen, McKenna certainly is going to want to play in the NHL. There's no doubt about that. Any player of his caliber wants to get into the NHL, and typically these guys want to get in as early as possible because if you are viewed as a generational talent, which McKenna is, if you have your head on straight, you're thinking about this not just about your rookie season and your second season and the third year of that ELC. No, you're thinking about like, oh, the cap's going up every year. The sooner I get into the league, the sooner I'm going to get to that like generational wealth kind of number. Oh, and by the way, the sooner you get into the league, the more games you get under your belt, the better chances there are of you eclipsing rookie records, of putting yourself on track to break individual records, of potentially getting yourself onto a team and maybe helping a team win a Stanley Cup sooner than later. There are so many things that could be at play. So it's just interesting to me. 1.2 million versus the ELC. On the short term, you go, 1.2 million sounds pretty damn nice. But Landros is right here. He's going to have to do 3 years of an ELC before he gets those big bucks. So it all depends. And maybe it won't be enough. Like maybe 1.2, 1.3 isn't enough. Now, if he physically thinks, hey, you know what? I might not be there yet. Now, let's say next year. He's 18. Goes back to Penn State. Maybe he tries to make camp for the Penguins because we all know that that's going to be rigged, right? Like we all can acknowledge that Gavin McKenna is going to go play for Penn State. And with Sidney Crosby on his last legs, Pittsburgh needs a guy that they can build a team around. So Gavin McKenna is going to be a Pittsburgh Penguin this time next year. That's what, I mean, I'm not saying that, but some people are floating out there that maybe there's going to be a way for Penn State to rig the system. Anyway, so if McKenna tries to make the team, whichever team drafts him, the Penguins, next year, and the team says, yo, you're fantastic, you're incredible, your skills are otherworldly, but you still need to add to your frame. I guess in a worst case scenario, there are worse things that can happen than you going back to college for another chance at winning a national championship and probably making over $1 million. So just saying, just throwing it out there. Again, I don't expect it to be something that's going to be like totally crazy, but it's interesting.